Sam and Peter are enjoying their Sunday. Suddenly, Peter notices a bottle floating next to the shore. He gets excited on seeing it. He quickly goes to pick up the bottle. Looking at the bottle, Sam says, "Hey, Peter, there is something inside the bottle." On opening the bottle, Peter sees a small scroll inside it. He removes the scroll and opens it. Seeing the pictures on the scroll, Peter's eyes widen with curiosity. Sam tells Peter that there must be a story hidden in these pictures. Peter excitedly tells Sam, "Let us write a story with the help of these pictures." Story writing is a form of creative writing. You need to have an open mind and the ability to express freely. Some of the important elements of a story are the plot, characters, atmosphere, and narration. Let us now study about these elements in detail. Plot. This is the heart of a story. The way a plot is written captures the attention of the reader and keeps him or her constantly engaged in the story. Furthermore, adding a climax to the story makes it more interesting. The next important element of a story is the characters. Characters play a very important role in the story. Their description connects the reader to the characters. Every writer should know his characters properly. He should know what kind of role they play in the story, their importance, their identity, their characteristics, etc. The number of characters depends on the story. Sometimes an animal can also be an important character in a story. Next element of a story is the atmosphere. Atmosphere creates the overall mood of the story. It describes the backgrounds such as sunny day, cloudy weather, steep mountains, heavy rain, etc. Thus, an atmosphere sets the mood for the reader as well. Also, it helps in connecting the characters with the background, setting a feeling of lifelikeness. Narration is another important element of a story. Narration is the pattern of writing a story which creates an interest in the reader to find out what is going to happen next. A narration of a story can be done either by one of the characters in the story or by a person who is not in the story but has witnessed it, that is, the narrator. A good narrated story starts with an introduction, followed by the main part of the story. Then comes the turning point, that is, the climax, which is followed by the end or the conclusion of the story. A story writer can make his or her story lively and interesting by adding expression, sound, dialogues, etc. to the story. For example, in a horror sequence, you can put in different kinds of sounds to make the reader more involved in the story. After watching the pictures for a long time, Sam and Peter start writing the story. Both of them put their thoughts and ideas together to make the story interesting. Look, they have completed the story. Let us all read the interesting story written by Sam and Peter. The title of the story is Dennis and the Sea Monster. Once upon a time, there lived a brave sailor named Dennis. Everyone in the village loved him for his simplicity and courage. Dennis was the only sailor who had the courage to face the dangerous sea monster and get the treasure. One day, Dennis packed his bag, took the treasure map, and set off on his journey. After sailing for hours together, Dennis stopped to rest. At that time, he heard a strong voice from behind. Dennis immediately got alert and turned around. He saw a huge and dangerous sea monster in front of him. Dennis at once removed his sword and bravely fought with the sea monster. The battle continued for hours. Both Dennis and the sea monster were badly hurt. Ultimately, Dennis succeeded in defeating the sea monster and continued his journey towards the treasure. Soon, Dennis reached his destination and collected all the treasure. Now Dennis had two options with him. Either he could go to the city and live a lavish life alone, or go back to his village and distribute the treasure equally among the villagers. What do you think Dennis must have done? That is right. Dennis took all the treasure, went back to his village, and distributed it among all the villagers. Everyone in the village sang praises for Dennis, and they all lived happily ever after.